Hey guys, James here. Um, as you can see, we are currently loading up a world in Songs of the Eons. We're gonna do another video, um, and basically, we're gonna go explore another randomly generated world in this. And while we're doing that, I'm also going to be talking about some recent news that came out about the game on a concept, really the foundation uh, of what the game simulation is going to run on. And this is the agent system in it. So basically, it's going to be an ever evolving open world. Not open world. That is a different. That's a different word, or that's a different subject in gaming. Um, I guess more alive world, um, where most strategy games like EU4, CK2, stuff like that, you have a basically a mana system, and that's how the player affects changes in the game, and the game doesn't do much else besides that. Um, Basically, SOTE, Songs of the Eons, is going to run on a system called agents. So you have agents that are independent of other things, and populations in the game, different races, different cultures, they could all be part of the same or different agents. Um, so they've recently posted and that is a very basic explanation of it. Um, but they recently posted an article on the SOTE wiki that explains the system and how it's going to work. Um, they give two examples of how it works. The one example is of a shipwright agent. So someone or a group of someones who build ships. Um, and what they do, they produce and consume goods, and they also produce and consume consequences. Now, those could be positive, those could be negative consequences. Um, could be positive for some other agent, could be negative for another agent. Um, and there's our world popping up. I'm gonna finish this this shipwright agent explanation quick. But how they have it is, so on the good side, they consume labor, cloth, and wood, and they produce ships for other agents, and they also produce maritime logistical material. Now, this is just an example, and they didn't go much into depth what that stuff actually does, but this is basically showing it's taking this, producing this. Um, and on the consequence side, the consuming of a consequence would be an offer that was a contract that was offered by another agent. So the government or a trading company or something comes to the shipwright. I want to buy a boat. Another one, they were attacked by someone else in society. So maybe another shipwright, something like that. Um, or the government came and said, "We need these ships, and you're building them for us." Uh, Consequences they can produce that are given in this example. Of course, there's going to be a lot more fluidity once the game is actually running. Um, they can offer contracts, so they go to someone and say, "Hey, we'll build these ships for you." All right. Um, they can contact the government of the province they're in and say, "Hey, we'll do this," and maybe they'll do something. Very simple explanation by me. Um, or they could, if a government is not doing something they like, incite uh, protest or opposition, and that's basically how that example was given. It's on the wiki page. So that's just an example of something that could happen between agents in the game. There's another example that I'll read later on in this video, um, and that one goes into a lot more depth, and it is about like the military and the government. Um, Also, by the way, if you are listening to this, you may have noticed that I have a new mic. I hope, at least. But yeah, so hopefully that'll help out a lot. Alright, so we are going to look at this world and just go through and look at some cool features. Nice long mountain range. This is a really interesting little bay here and here. There's another small little bay over here. Interesting trading opportunities. Let's see what the temperature's like down here. Yep, not bad. It's about the equator. Some island chains here. Not really chains, but yeah, kind of. This is interesting. This looks like it could be possibly like a... Oh, never mind. I was thinking swamp, but no. These are interesting islands out here. Okay. Chain there. There we go. That's an interesting set of islands. Interesting, basically lakes, but little inland seas. Because I don't think lakes are in the game yet. This is an interesting. This here. Build a city right here. Have a couple canals running out. Be safe from the ocean. That'd be an interesting place to start. Some more bays over here. This is a cool little river, runs down through here. This would be an interesting setup in this area. Possibly be quite a bit of trade going on right here. Very mountainous up here. Subpolar, okay. Oh, this is interesting. Wow, yeah, okay, so there's a lot. This is an interesting strait to control. One thing that a very ambitious empire could do, build canals through here. Those would be very big canals, but another interesting thing, like we showed just a little bit ago, here and here, these two areas. It's a fairly narrow strip of land. Not very, but this big bay down here. Holy cow, this is a very large continent. Holy cow. Alright, we'll start over on this side of it. Right here. Okay, this would be a interesting place. Trying to think of places like that I would really enjoy going to. There would be a lot of nomads throughout here. That is a very large continent. Big inland sea here. Another inland sea. I think I'm gonna save this world. Oh my, wow, look at this. That's kind of insane. Just a ridge of mountains running along here. Yeah, that's a very big continent. I'm gonna save this world. Interesting set of islands off here, bigger islands. And again, this inland sea here, this is a big sea. Oh wow, look at this. Form of Sparta down here. Kind of resembles that area of Greece. And the only reason it does is because this here, this little isthmus. Oh wow. This would be a pretty important strait to control here. Yeah. Because otherwise, wow, yeah, very. Although it is colder up here, so there wouldn't be, I mean, there'd still be trade, but trade from down here going, yeah, there wouldn't be much up here, but to get to the other side, instead of crossing over this where there could possibly be some raiding nomads through here, stuff coming from down here, you either go around up to the pole where there's going to be polar ice caps all year basically, or you go all the way down around. Yeah, whoever controls this would be sitting very pretty. That is a very, very nice strait to control. That would put pressure. As I was saying this earlier, this would be an interesting spot for a very ambitious empire to put some canals in. If you're an empire situated here, you'd have a pretty good trading setup. I mean, it is a fairly cold. It's kind of, I don't know how that compares to northern England exactly, temperature wise, but, or not northern England, northern Europe, as in Denmark, Germany, England. But if you have an empire here who relies on trading and they want to get stuff from over here, but they have to pass through here, and they don't get along well with the group who controls this, they could either move there and have an outpost or something there, or be ambitious and canal through and make a second opening. That would be very interesting. Yeah, this is a really interesting world. So, yeah, we'll just let it sit on that view for a little while. I'm gonna switch over to the internet so I can read through that agent, the second agent example, quick. So, basically, and then I'll just skim over the article a little bit. Basically explaining what an agent is. Let me reread part of this. Yeah, basically they can be, there's mercenaries, a shipwright, government, yeah, merchant family, band of pirates, pack of roving monsters, or an entire province, stuff like that. And on the idea of a player is actually an agent in the world. There isn't just the player says something and it happens. It says something and then other agents react how they want to react to it. All agents have unique interests and motives. Yes. So agents will they will how they think, so what they desire, if they want to turn a profit or expand or something like that, that's gonna affect how they interact with other agents. This goes over agent hierarchies. So if you've been on the Reddit, this was posted I think a day or two ago. Um, it's a flowchart of basically an army of an empire. So basically, the Imperial Court agent, which is basically the government, it is the government, contracts the Imperial Army, who's another agent. The Imperial Army has multiple agents under it. They have a group of steppe mercenaries who are going to have different goals than the just Imperial Army, even though they're hired. Um, a logistics division, so moving supplies, stuff like that. And so let's talk about those two real quick for a minute. So they give little descriptions of this example in specific, on why these things are involved here. So with the steppe mercenaries, this empire lacks horses, so it needs to hire these mercenaries who have horses and are good cavalrymen to fight for them. The empire doesn't have a lot of financial ability at the moment, so they have basically agreed with these mercenaries that you can go and loot as much as you want, basically. So these mercenaries, as a result of being able to loot like that, they might choose to, they have a high probability of choosing to just abandon the campaign if they're suffering high casualties, there's not a lot of loot, stuff like that. So it gives reason to behind why a group of mercenaries might leave an army instead of just saying, hey, we're leaving. This logistics division. So this agent manages, I'm going to read this word for word. This agent manages, oh my gosh, okay. The logistics division is an agent which manages and procures necessary resources for the army. It interacts with other agents in its current region to requisition or confiscate goods. So, like population, it'll go say, hey, we need this, or we're taking this. A tolerated culture of corruption in the army means the logistics division may secretly embezzle goods and currency meant for the army. So, in this example, there's a lot of corruption in this army. So this logistics division might say, all right, well, we're going to take some of this and give it to the army, but some of this we're going to keep for ourselves. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. From there, we go on to 3 more agents: allied tributaries, conscripts in the army, and professional soldiers. So, under allied tributaries, there are 2 different agents, which represent basically 2 armies or divisions, I guess you could say. So, one of the allied tributaries was basically forced into the alliance, and so they're only fighting because they don't want to be attacked. So they have a very high chance of betrayal and possibly not fighting well. The other allied tributary is a longtime ally of the Empire, though. So they fight for a long time. They will suffer high casualties, but that's only when they start suffering really high casualties will it really start affecting the relationship there. Under conscripts, there are 15 different agents from 15 different provinces. So, 2 of these agents are from neutral provinces. So these provinces are neutral, basically. So they're gonna, while the campaign's going good and the rights to loot are going good, they'll fight, but at the moment of bad news, they're going to start to possibly falter. There's 8 agents from loyal provinces, so that's kind of obvious. These provinces have profited well under the Empire, so they're very faithful in how they fight for the Empire. Then there are 5 other agents from disloyal provinces. So these provinces, in this example, of course, are provinces that just recently were annexed by this empire. So they're only fighting because they're outnumbered by loyal soldiers. If they have the opportunity, or if something really bad happens, they will leave, defect immediately. So that's that example, and that is so immensely promising for what this game is going to be, and what Demian wants to do with this game, and the other developers. There are a couple others, but yeah, this is going to be the core concept of how the simulation in this game is ran. So just finishing off this article. Events arise from organic interactions between agents. So events in like CK2, EU4, they're all scripted events. So they happen because some triggered modifier happened. In SotE, it's going to happen because an agent wants to do something that will affect it in a good way. So it's going to be a true simulation of what actually happens in a world. So there's 2 more real headlines in this article, and the one we've already gone over somewhat, but the other says all societies and songs of the Eons are composed of numerous agents. So basically, and as I just went through, there's so many different things, different trade guilds, privateers. So the structure, I'm going to read this paragraph quick. The structure of territory operates in a similar way. The capital of an empire contains numerous provincial agents beneath it, and each one of these provincial agents has agents subordinate to it as well. Nobles or peasant councils ruling over the peasants, merchant families, a cloth weaving guild, and a band of privateers who uses the province as a home port, among others. So it's not just the big things that you think of, the army, the court, stuff like that. It goes down to trade guilds, important families, the peasants, and possibly not just all peasants in a province, peasants of this religion or of this culture, stuff like that. So yeah, it is going to be a very, very interesting time watching this game develop, and we're just in the early stages of it, as you can see in this video. But yeah, it is the strategy game that I've always wished for. So I'm making these videos because I want to help promote it, because it is something that I really want to see come to fruition. So thank you guys for watching, and go check out this amazing game.